Now, so far we've looked at how to use Concordance and Opticon to search, review, and tag a database. We've seen how specific searches can be made to find documents relevant to your particular case, how those documents display in Opticon for annotating and redactions, and then marking the various issue calls with tagging. Now we are going to delve a little deeper into how a Concordance database actually gets created from scratch. We'll build the database, load the TIFF images in Opticon, and link the two together. At the very beginning of this tutorial, we briefly went over the starting files that you will likely receive from your scanning or eDiscovery vendor for your Concordance database. Now, if your vendor had given you a fully loaded Concordance database, then you can simply copy it to your network and start working with it. In this lesson, however, we are going to work with the assumption that your vendor has provided you the very basic text and TIFF files only, and that you will have to put the pieces together yourself. So, let's begin by taking a look at a sample of the files that you might receive. These same demo files that we are going to be looking at is available on the DVD under the Exercise Files folder. These are basically sample database files that come with your purchase of the Concordance 2007 software. As you can see here in the demo directory, there are three items. One is an image folder, which contains single-page TIFF files. These are your basic standard TIFF images for a document review, which basically means that they are 300 dpi, black and white, group 4 TIFFs, and they are single-page TIFFs. That means each one of these TIFF files you see here on the screen represents one single page. Now, let me pause here for a second and just jump back and talk briefly about these single-page TIFF files versus other TIFF file formats, which is the multi-page TIFF. As a standard, you should always try to obtain single-page TIFF files. They're smaller and thus easier to handle, and because they are separate single pages, they can be easily combined or separated from the whole document with very little and simple changes. A multi-page document would mean that one single TIFF file could contain multiple pages, depending on the size of the document. While multi-page TIFF files are usable within the Concordance environment, I personally recommend avoiding that because of two basic reasons. Number one, multi-page documents are larger in size, and during a normal review process, you'll likely notice a lag in speed when flipping from document to document. It may not be a problem if you're looking at a small database with just a couple of reviewers, but if you have a fairly large database with hundreds of thousands of records and 20 reviewers going at the same time, that little lag will snowball and slow down your general review speed. And number two, if you ever find the need to break apart a document, perhaps two documents were accidentally tied together as a single multi-page document, it's a bit of a pain to break them apart. It's doable, but you'll have to cut the document up and resave as two separate files, which then brings up the need to apply suffixes or prefixes to the number of files correctly. It's simply more hassle than it's worth. Of course, you may find the circumstances where multi-page documents may be needed. For instance, if only the TIFF files are to be sent to a particular attorney or partner for review, and he or she does not want a full database, then you may want to send just one single TIFF file that the attorney can flip through. But even if that's the case, the single-page TIFF file can easily be merged together. Now, that's just my 2 cents on the formatting of the TIFF images. So bottom line, just always ask for single-page TIFF images. Generally, most service providers, most vendors understand this need and will give you single-page TIFF files as a default.